สวัสดีค่ะ Welcome to Hot Thai Kitchen. So I have a friend with me in the kitchen today. I've got a little help. This is Colin from Woodwork Web. So Colin is actually a fellow YouTuber and we met a while back at a YouTube conference right here in Vancouver.
That's right.
And he's got a great channel with over 120,000 subscribers now. And he teaches people how to make just about anything out of wood, which is amazing. So welcome to Hot Thai Kitchen,
Thank
Colin. สวัสดีค่ะ
Sawadee Kap.
Well done. He said that perfectly. So I owe you a private cooking lesson today because a while back you made me this beautiful wooden mortar and pestle. You even let me into your shop. You got me to do some woodworking, which trust me, doesn't happen very often. So if you guys want to see me in some woodworking action, if you want to see how a mortar and pestle get made, check out Colin's channel. So today you've got a recipe request for me.
I do. You know, I know that woodworkers love ribs, and especially if they can be Thai ribs. And I would love to know how to make tasty and tender ribs. So I'm waiting to see all the secrets of making ribs today.
All right, well, you're in for a treat because I've got a great recipe for you. It's a honey soy glazed ribs.
Ooh.
Sticky, a little bit spicy, sweet, salty. Oh, it's gonna be so good, and it's a recipe that I actually made up just for you.
Well, I have something for you.
Oh.
In case we need to do any mixing, I brought my woodworker's mixer.
Wow, I think might be a little too heavy duty for what we need because, you know, I've got my little mini whisk here that I think will do just fine. Here is our beautiful rack of ribs.
Now, what kind of ribs are these?
So these are pork back ribs. There are actually two kinds of ribs when you go to the store.
Yeah.
There's side ribs, also known as spare ribs. You've heard of spare ribs.
Yeah.
And there's the other one, which is back ribs. So back ribs are from the back. Spare ribs are from the front side.
Okay.
Back ribs are more expensive, but they're more tender. I like the flavor better, and also if you're gonna cut them into individual pieces, which is what we're gonna do,
Yeah.
they are more consistent in size. Spare ribs are cheaper, but they're more irregular, so it's not gonna look as nice if we're gonna cut them into individual ribs. So that's what I'm gonna ask you to do.
Okay.
I'm going to get you to cut these. I turn it upside down because it's easier to see where the bones are. Then you can see go right through the middle. Nice, perfect. And then they're individual pieces that you can just grab and chew on with your hands. It's so good. So while Colin's doing that, I'm gonna do the marinade. So the marinade is super easy. Some oyster sauce. You live in a small town.
Yes.
So you don't have like an Asian grocery store or anything nearby, do you?
No, but we can get almost everything there.
Yeah?
Yeah, like
Okay.
oyster sauce.
Oyster sauce, soy
I
sauce,
think I have
yeah.
some at home.
Oh, wow. So I've got some soy sauce as well going in. Important ingredient here is some honey. This is going to be what makes these sweet and sticky sriracha or sriracha hot sauce. Now, do you know what that? Have you worked with that?
No.
So sriracha is a Thai-style hot sauce that's relatively mild as far as hot sauce goes, and you can actually get it at any grocery store. Black soy sauce. Now, you can use dark soy sauce for this. This is optional. If you can't find it near where you live,
Yep.
don't worry about it. It just adds a little bit of color.
Is it a mild soy?
Yeah,
The
it's
dark?
quite mild. It's not
Okay.
very salty at
Okay.
all. It's actually a little bit sweet as well because I think they put molasses in here.
Oh.
And that's it. Super easy. Now, if you're gonna bring the ribs over, wow, these ribs are nice and meaty.
They are.
Not all ribs have the same amount of meat on them as I've come to notice. So
Now, what makes them tender? Is the marinade what makes them tender?
no, the tenderness is gonna come from the braising process,
Oh.
which we're gonna do after they've marinated.
Okay.
And I do this just while I get everything ready. It doesn't need to be, you know, overnight or anything, but if you want to do it overnight, you can. And that's it. So we're gonna let this sit. Now we're gonna use your mortar and pestle
Ooh, all right.
for the next thing. And so I'm gonna start with coriander seeds.
Okay.
Now coriander seeds, I've toasted these on the pan just for a few minutes until they start to darken a little bit.
What does that do to them?
Toasting spices bloom the flavors.
Oh.
So it makes the flavor more
Okay.
intense. So with this, if you start pounding right away because they're round, they're gonna
Yeah.
start jumping out.
Oh.
So you wanna start by just sort of covering a little bit and just press on it.
So do we want them powdery or do we
No,
want them
we just
crunchy?
want them broken up. So now while Colin's doing that, I am using my heavy duty mortar and pestle to make the herb paste. You guys see me always use this one, but I wanted that one because sometimes I just don't need to haul this around the kitchen. And this is kind of a pain to wash.
It's big.
I weighed it, it's 15 pounds. So every time I have to wash it, it's hauling 15 pounds around. So now in here, I'm gonna put some garlic, white peppercorns, okay, and also some cilantro stems.
Oh.
Yep, so garlic, white peppercorn, and cilantro stems are cilantro roots. We also use roots as well. It's sort of our basic trinity of flavors. This mixture goes into a lot of different things that we make.
So what's going to happen with all this when you've ground it all down?
It's going to become a paste, and then it'll be able to mix and coat the ribs nicely. So they're not, because right now they're just sort of in big chunks.
Yep.
And so I do need this to be quite a fine paste, which is why this granite mortar is kind of what I need for this job. Okay, so that's sort of what you're looking for. You don't want any big chunks of garlic.
Okay.
And you can go ahead and actually put your coriander seeds on the ribs.
Okay, just sprinkle them on?
Yeah, just sprinkle them on. There you go. Nice. Now, how does that smell so far?
Ooh, it's amazing.
That's all our prep. Now we're ready to cook.
Really? Mm-hmm. That easy?
It's that easy.
Wow, that didn't take long at all.
Nope. We're going to cook the ribs in the wok.
Okay.
Stovetop, no oven.
Wow.
Okay? Yeah.
This is amazing. It's so simple. What are you putting in there? What's that?
That's just vegetable oil.
Okay.
Yeah, just any neutral flavored oil that you have would work. Here, do you want to do that for me?
Sure.
Just stir it around.
Okay. I can't believe how aromatic it is.
And just 3 things. So now you see how the garlic has started to turn a little bit golden?
Yes.
Okay, now we're going to add the ribs in. I'm going to add some water. So this stove is very strong. And now I'm gonna just rinse my bowl a little bit because we've got lots of good flavor in there. We don't want to waste it. You want to add just enough water to almost cover the pork. But this is why I like using a wok, because it's wide and it's a bowl shape. You'll end up needing less water than if you were to use like a regular pot.
So do we bring this water up to almost like a boil then?
You want to maintain it at a simmer though.
Okay.
So what we're doing now is called braising. So braising is slowly simmering meat in a liquid. And what that's going to do is infuse the flavor into the meat, and it'll tenderize the meat.
Oh.
Because ribs are very tough and you don't cook it very well.
Yep.
We've all had really tough ribs. So you want to put that cover on for me.
Okay.
These ribs, because ribs have different sizes, can take anywhere between 35 to 45 minutes. So you really have to start checking them and just use your own judgment.
So that's it, 45 minutes and they'll be done?
Yeah.
Wow.
But you want to make sure that this doesn't vigorously boil.
Okay.
You want to keep it at a simmer. If it's boiling all the time, the meat will be tender, but it'll also be a little dry because that vigorous boiling will drive sort of the natural juices out of the meat. Here's the reveal.
Okay.
Nice. So now I know it doesn't look like much, but wait.
They smell gorgeous.
You want to test it that it's fork tender.
Okay.
And exactly what it sounds like is you just poke a fork into the meat.
Yeah.
And just make sure it goes through easily. What you don't want with these is fall off the bone tender, because the way we eat these, we use our hands and we kind of munch on it like an appetizer.
Right.
And if it falls off the bone, it's just messy, right? What we're gonna do is I'm gonna get you to remove the ribs.
Okay.
We're gonna reduce the sauce into a delicious glaze. What kind of kitchen utensils have you been making over on your channel?
Well, I'm going to be making some more cutting boards, maybe some bigger cutting boards. I've got a very special knife rack that I'm going to be making.
I need a knife rack.
And I've got coming up a 2-tiered Lazy Susan, so that's going to be really interesting.
2-tiered Lazy Susan.
2-tiered Lazy Susan.
That's
Do we cover
interesting.
this now with something?
Just cover it in foil so that it doesn't get cold. And then I'm going to turn this on and let that reduce. Now it's going to take a while, so just crank it on high heat and let it go until it's thick. So if someone were to get started making a wooden kitchen utensil, what do you suggest they start with?
Well, you can start with something as easy as a spoon, and you don't even need special tools. You can just use carving tools or a sharp knife.
Oh, do you have a video on that?
I don't yet, but that'll be something I'll be doing.
Some woodworking 101.
That's right.
Maybe I can do it.
Yeah, there you go.
So as you can see, it is reduced quite significantly.
Yeah, a lot.
And I also forgot to mention earlier that before we reduce, if there's a lot of fat floating on the top, I just scoop it out. And I just scoop out, see this amount of fat. So now is the part where you're starting to see now how this is gonna be really good. We're gonna put the ribs in here and give it a good toss. You see how the sauce is thick
Yeah.
enough to actually coat the ribs.
It is, yeah. Wow, look at those ribs.
I know. And that's pretty much it. Do these look good or what?
Oh, these look delicious.
Okay, and I have rice ready to go, but for now we're just gonna go for it
Ooh,
with our
okay.
hands, okay? So I'm
right.
taking this one.
Oh, I'm gonna take this one here. Oh, they're so tender. I like how there's a little bit of a bite to them.
Of spiciness, you mean? Yeah, that's a sriracha hot sauce.
Oh.
And also the white pepper, because there was quite a bit of white pepper in it.
Oh, the meat is so tender. I can't
Yeah,
believe it.
and it took what, 45 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the recipe will be on hotthaikitchen.com as always. Thank you so much for coming on. It was so fun to have someone to help me.
Thanks for
a
doing
change. No worries. I hope you start cooking some Thai food
Oh, I'm gonna be
in your
cooking
kitchen.
these up pretty soon. Yeah.
All right, you guys, don't forget to check out Colin's channel. He makes tons of really interesting stuff on his channel, and check out my video where I am making the mortar and pestle for sure. All right, you guys, I'll see you later.
Thanks.
Bye. Bye. Good, huh?
Oh, it's so good.
I can tell it was genuine.
That was pretty genuine.